Longstaff, Tonali, Joel Linton, Willock, Isak and Gordon, who's recovered from a groin injury. Chelsea are in their all-royal blue. 11 changes made from the team that beat Newcastle at Stamford Bridge on Sunday by 2-1. Jorgensen is in goal. Disasi, Badiashile, Tosin, Cucurella. You've then got Enzo Fernandez and Vega. Looks like they're going to line up as the two sitters with a flat back four as we're underway. Dewsbury Hall, Felix Mudryk and Nkunku. Vega, who they signed from Basel, is extremely versatile. He can play as a left-back, left-sided central defender, or as he is tonight alongside Fernandez. So we're underway here on BBC Radio 5 Live, and it is Chelsea in their all-royal blue who are playing from left to right as we look. As Tosin will just play it to Badiashile, and then back to Jorgensen, the Danish keeper who they signed from Villarreal in the summer, as Gordon slides in. And that already just fires up the crowd on that far side.
It's incredible what a slide and tackle can do in the first minute or so, isn't it, to the crowd?
Anthony Gordon, who they'll be pleased to see him back in the side after that groin problem, bearing in mind that Lee Carsley as well will name his what will be a final squad as the interim England manager next week. Cucurella coming forward on that far side for Chelsea. His long diagonal ball. Kelly's header might give Nkunku a sniff here. Nkunku's onto it. He gets the ball out then, and in the end it was a rather weak shot by Dewsbury Hall, left-footed straight at Pope.
That was a really good opportunity, you know. Newcastle got caught on the ball, and the ball fell really well for Dewsbury Hall. Perfect for his left foot, but he hit it straight at Nick Pope.
It was a little bit lax, wasn't it, by Kelly. Didn't have enough power on it to reach Cher. Lloyd Kelly, who signed on a free from Bournemouth, as he is back in the starting lineup tonight as Joel Linton picks up the ball on this near side the left. Willock is up with him, as is Isak, and then Joel Linton plays the ball back to Lewis Hall, and then Kelly back towards Cher over on that far side, and now with Emil Kraft forward to Gordon. Gordon started on the right. The ball by Willock is out to Isak. Joel Linton's arriving, and Joel Linton puts it wide, making a late arrival into the penalty area, left-hand side, 6 yards out from goal, and off his right foot he's put it wide of the left-hand post.
It's an absolute sitter. He misses from 7 yards out. Balls fell really kindly for him. Great ball in from Isak, and he just tries to guide it in with his right foot from 7 yards out at the far post. He gets it all wrong, pushes it wide instead of in between the posts. Big chance.
It actually clipped the outside of the left-hand post as we look from Joel Linton, but that really was an excellent opportunity for Newcastle United to take the lead. In fact, when you look back at it, off his right foot as well, it seems harder to have missed the target.
It certainly was. I mean, it fell perfectly for him. The bounce was perfect for him, as you said. He was running onto his right foot. Massive opportunity.
Talking of goal droughts, he's gone 10 without a goal since he scored on the opening day against Southampton. As here is Kelly at the back, but Newcastle will nevertheless be buoyed by creating that opportunity. Joel Linton now towards Hall. Storming run by Hall. Felix can't stop him, and then Disasi did. Chris Kavanagh is the referee tonight. He gives a direct free kick for Newcastle United midway through the Chelsea half. He showed 13 yellow cards at Villa Park. I was there at the weekend. One off the Premier League record when Bournemouth played Chelsea earlier in the season. But on this occasion, he's opted to keep his cards in his pocket. But it's a free kick to Newcastle.
And there wasn't one bad tackle in that game. No, I watched it as well.
I said exactly the same. And you never gave me the stat out on Match the Day I gave you. Here is Tonali. Leaves it for Hall, left-footed, curls it. Jorgensen has lost it. Joel Linton had a prod with his right boot on the edge of the area. Felix tries to spin by Tonali. He goes to ground. It was a soft one, really. But Chelsea will nevertheless get the free kick.
I think it's interesting looking at Newcastle. You mentioned it. Anthony Gordon on the right-hand side and Joel Linton on the left-hand side, with Joe Willock just inside him, and I expect those to sort of interchange as the night goes on. One goes inside and one outside to make those runs that they have done already.
Here is Tonali picking up the ball. That's the familiar voice of Alan Shearer on BBC Radio 5 Live tonight. Incidentally, the Tottenham-Manchester City game that gets underway at 8:15 Commentary of that will be on Sports Extra, and then when we're done here, you'll hear the conclusion of that game here on BBC Radio 5 Live. As the ball goes back to Jorgensen, luminous orange goalkeeping outfit, and then he's put the ball left-footed right out of play as the young Danish keeper. He did make 44 appearances in total for Villarreal. They signed him on a 7-year deal. They don't do short-term contracts at Stamford Bridge. As Enzo Fernandez up towards Nkunku, lays it off to Dewsbury Hall. Dewsbury Hall just slows it down and then back towards Disasi, and then across the back they go to Chelsea. Good energy about Newcastle though.
Yeah, there has, but that's been a problem for them all season, what's just happened with that big chance for Joe Linton. Really good play in the final third so many times this season, but the finishing or the final ball has been so bad, and that's what's costing them at the minute.
Well, actually, in the 11 games this season, they've only scored more than once, twice, Spurs and Wolves. And it would have certainly given them the perfect start had they got that early goal, as they try and bounce back after that 2-1 setback at Stamford Bridge. Only one win in 6, and that was against Wimbledon in the previous round. Eddie Howe wanders into that tiny technical area down in front of us as we sit on the halfway line, only about 8-9 rows back from the dugout here at St James's Park. Gives you a really good view of what the managers are feeling as Lewis Hall strokes the ball back to Cher. I think you said it, Alan, calm, as the high ball downfield is put out of play by Jorgen. No, it's not out of play on that far side. It's Longstaff on his birthday, back down the line, gets it back, loses out to Mudryk, Ukrainian. Now for Vega, but the interception from Longstaff gets it back for Newcastle United. 6 minutes played, forward ball, Willock's onto it. Joe Linton, short and square, out to this left-hand side. Willock wanted it, back, and then it'll be just seen back by Badiashile. Because the scrutiny can quickly build in this place.
No, absolutely. Football is all about results. I know that Eddie's had success, I know no trophies, but in terms of where he took over Newcastle to where they were last season, the season before that, but you've got to keep going, you've got to keep improving.
Well, the draw for the quarter-final will be made tonight. Last night, of course, there were wins for Brentford and Alan's former side, Southampton, as they go into the quarter-finals. Newcastle or Chelsea will be ball number 6 when that draw is made after the conclusion of that 8:15 kick-off in North London. Enzo Fernandez played a hurried ball, but Chelsea get it back. Vega, Felix just drops back into a pocket of space and runs forward. Diagonal ball along the ground. Dewsbury Hall is onto it with pace. Just slips inside the penalty area. Still keeps possession for Chelsea. Back to Disasi. Midway through the Newcastle half. Vega with a bushy hair now comes forward. Short in field. Fernandez tried to play Dewsbury Hall, but tucked in was Hall to clear for Newcastle United. But Chelsea have got it back. Eddie Howe looked a little frustrated as they gave it away rather cheaply. Mudryk now on that far side, the left, in front of the east stand. Cucurella makes the run ahead of him. He pulls it back. Vega is arriving, takes a deflection and goes wide behind for a corner. That could have gone anywhere. It
very nearly went in the back of the net, Deno. Really good work from Cucurella on the overlap. Gets to the byline and pulls the ball back in the hope that someone was going to get on the end of it. And that someone this time was Vega. He just couldn't get the connection that he wanted. Maybe just a sliding tackle. Then a slight deflection it was from Tonali that puts it wide.
He scored one goal as the 21-year-old since he arrived from Basel for £12 million. That was against Ghent in Europe. And as Alan says, had it not been for that touch off Tonali, that might well have been goal bound. The corner's been worked short. Back to Dewsbury Hall. Sends in a left-footed cross. Isak's header is going to go behind in front of the Gallagate end for another corner to Chelsea. 9 minutes played here. And we'll be going to Villa Park in a moment. We'll just stay with this corner kick for Chelsea. It's still 0-0 at this stage here on our commentary game on BBC Radio 5 Live. There are a cluster of royal blue shirts to aim for just outside the 6-yard area. Now they make their run towards the near post, but Dewsbury Hall hasn't delivered the ball yet. Now he has. Header away by Longstaff, helped further away by Hall. It will run out of play to that far side. So, goal at Villa Park, Lee Blakeman.
Aston Villa 0, Crystal Palace 1. Ball in from the right, found Eze. Powerful header from the penalty spot, straight in. Villa 0, Palace 1.
First win in the Premier League at the weekend, and a good start at Villa Park for Oliver Glasner's side. No other goals elsewhere around in the Carabao Cup tonight, or indeed in the Scottish Premiership, as Mudryk runs forward on that far side, the left. Mudryk with the cross, curling away out of the penalty area. Bouncing ball headed away by Joel Linton. Back to Disasi. Now it's with Dewsbury Hall. A little stumble again, back to his feet. Keeps hold of it, does Dewsbury Hall. And now with Enzo Fernandez, left-footed ball, sprays it out towards that far side, but sprays it away from Mudryk, and it goes out of play for a throw. Alan Shearer.
Just looking at Joe Linton there, when he made that tackle, he just went down and he's just hobbling away a little bit, just in front of Eddie Howe. Small concern for Newcastle.
They have a number of players out injured. Dubravka, Trippier, Wilson, Botman. In fact, I think Dubravka's actually back on the bench tonight. Indeed he is. Botman, they reckon, could be back around Christmas time. Lascelles, at least Gordon is back after that groin injury. We'll nick to the Amex. Mike Williams.
Liverpool nil. Best chance of the match though, Ian, has fallen to the home side. Ball pumped upfield, controlled by Seaman Adingra, edge of the box. Square ball to the on-rushing fullback Tariq Lamptey. He doesn't score many, and that possibly showed. Lamptey just had the keeper to beat, but he shot straight at Yaros in the Liverpool goal. 26 minutes gone here. Brighton nil, Liverpool nil.
And alongside Steve Crossman at Old Trafford is Conor McNamara.
Manchester United nil, Leicester City nil. Low-key start to the post-Eric Ten Hag era here at Old Trafford. There's been just one chance so far. Conor Cody slipped midway inside his own half, allowing Joshua Zirkzee to run towards the penalty area, but he sort of cut back at himself on the edge of the box. Zirkzee failed to get a shot away. If Ruben Amorim is watching from afar, he won't have seen much to be impressed with yet. Manchester United nil, Leicester nil.
It's worth reminding everybody that there is no extra time tonight, so we go straight to a penalty shootout. If any ties are level after 90 minutes. Enzo Fernandez gave the ball away but redeemed himself as he battled to win it back. Here is Vega under pressure from Tonali, but the referee Chris Kavanagh has given a free kick for Chelsea in their own half. 11 minutes played, and that chance from Joel Linton is... Well, they had the other one for
Vega.
For Vega at this side, didn't we?
And Dewsbury Hall, yeah, both had a couple at Chelsea and one big chance for Newcastle.
You can see why I didn't do well at school, can't you? My memory recall there. Back it goes with to Tosin. Badia Shield, forward ball. Enzo Fernandez under pressure there from Tonali. Tosin's ball goes straight to Willock. Willock now towards Isak. Tried to thread it through to Tonali. Comes back to him. Lays it off. Joel Linton, left-hand side. Tosin's downward header behind for a corner kick, 0-0.
He just tried to pop it through his legs, didn't he, Isak, to find that run in the middle, but it just caught his legs. He very, very nearly got through. Newcastle got the corner anyway.
St Mirren 0, St Johnstone 1 is the latest score in the Scottish Premiership. Still goalless at Celtic and also at Pittodrie. Celtic and Aberdeen, remember, are both still unbeaten. 25 points. Very impressive start by Aberdeen. Rangers, who are 6 points adrift, will try and eat into that deficit as Tonali with the corner powered the ball in from this near side to left and over the head of Joel Linton, and all the way out of play it goes for a goal kick. 13 minutes played, 0-0. What do you think that the managers would have made of the respective starts of these two sides?
Well, both teams have been really open, played some nice football, and both had really good chances but failed to take them. But it's encouraging if you're a forward, if you're getting chances that early.
Here is Vega, who had one of those chances for Chelsea. He hits a ball over the top, but one bounce and it will go through to Nick Pope, standing all in green in front of the Gallowgate end, away towards our right on an extremely mild night at St James's Park. Here is Tonali, strokes the ball out to that far side. Kraft looking for Gordon, trying to get round the back of Cucurella, gives him a little nudge in the back, but Gordon then gets the ball to feet, shields it away from the Spanish international, but then it runs away off Gordon, and it will be a Chelsea throw 10 yards up from their own corner flag on that far side. That could be a nice little duel between the two.
Looks interesting, doesn't it? It's already looks a bit spiky.
As Longstaff goes with the press, as Chelsea try to play the ball out from the back, and it goes out for a goal kick. He's 27 today, is Sean Longstaff, one of 5 changes that Eddie Howe has made. Were you expecting as many changes as that, bearing in mind they don't have European distractions this season?
No, I was expecting maybe 1 or 2, but when you've played like the way they did and you didn't get the result, then you can't really complain if you've been left out of the team, whether that's the manager saying I'm arresting you or I'm leaving you out.
Chance to freshen things up for Eddie Howe. barking out the orders at the moment down below. Enzo Fernandez trying to get away from the shackles of Tonali. Plays it back to Badiashile. His forward ball. Cucurella has gone into that inverted role from left back. They play the ball back to Jorgensen, and then he clears it. Kelly loses out in the air to Nkunku, but nobody's making that run in behind, as there has been a goal. And we're at Manchester United. Conor McNamara.
What a goal. Manchester United 1, Leicester City 0. Casemiro has hit a thunderstrike to the top corner. Ruud van Nistelrooy would have been delighted with that, and that's no exaggeration. That's a brilliant goal, and it has illuminated what had been a quiet start for Manchester United in their first game post Eric Ten Hag. Garnacho on the left hand side pulled it back. Casemiro fully 10 yards outside the penalty area, bang to the top corner. Manchester United 1, Leicester City 0.
Remember, Crystal Palace are leading at Villa Park by 1-0. No goals at the Amex Deepdale, and Tottenham Manchester City gets underway in 15 minutes time. Joel Linton feeds it to Willock, left hand side, first time cross, headed away by Tosin at the near post. Nkunku tries to spin away by Tonali, now towards Disasi on this near side. His forward ball, Nkunku might be beaten to it by Cher, slid into the challenge, but the assistant referee waves his flag, and the referee is reaching for his yellow card, and Cher is going to be booked.
Very similar to the tackle, wasn't it, at the weekend that he also got a yellow card for, which Chelsea scored from when he tried to take Neto out and he just managed to knock it across and Jackson put it in. Very similar. The ball's played in behind and he's just too late again, and he catches Nkunku. It's definitely a foul and without doubt a yellow card.
You could see, couldn't you, they're thinking he's going to commit himself here, and once he is committed, if he doesn't get the ball, it's a yellow all day long.
You've got to be quicker in reading the situation, and Nkunku was just too quick for him then.
Remember, he was sent off against Southampton on the opening day as well. He's the Newcastle United captain, Fabian Schär, the Swiss international, first yellow card of the night, and Chelsea have got a free kick 10 yards in from the right touchline, playing from left to right as we look, all in royal blue, attacking the Gallagate end. Dewsbury Hall and Fernandez stand over the free kick. Newcastle quite a high line from that line of black and white striped shirts to try and give Pope as much protection as they possibly can. Fernandez with the left arm aloft. He runs up now, strikes it right footed, lofted high, arcing, headed out by Kraft on that far side, played back in by Disasi, and they let it run out of play for a goal kick, as we'll pay a first visit of the evening to Deepdale and Masfaruqi.
His goal is here, but the best chance so far has come to Arsenal's Ethan Nwaneri. He slipped as he took the shot on, though, 10 yards out. Ball fed to him by Raheem Sterling. He put it over the crossbar, and Liam Lindsay is just headed over at the other end. Preston 0, Arsenal 0.
In fact, just underway at Pittodrie, Aberdeen Rangers is an 8 o'clock kick-off. Tottenham Manchester City at 8:15. We'll keep you abreast of all of the games on this busy night of football. And on Saturday, 5 Live Sport, we're at Anfield. Liverpool against Brighton for the usual goal service from 3. Wolves Crystal Palace is our 5:30 commentary. And on Sunday, Tottenham Villa at 2, Manchester United Chelsea at 4:30. And before we know it, we're back with the Champions League next week as well, as the live football continues plenty on BBC Radio 5 Live and the BBC Sounds app. 0-0 though here at St James's Park in this League Cup tie. Hall, I remember actually him 2 years ago making his Chelsea debut at Manchester City in the League Cup, and he was a very impressive debut as well from the young man, as he now will watch Joel Linton bring the ball off his chest, play the ball to Willock on the left hand side. Hall has made his way into the penalty area. Willock comes back, edge of the box. Longstaff plays it forward, blocked by the legs of Fernandez. It will rebound to Kelly on this near side. Joel Linton is ahead of him. Joel Linton then from the left touchline passes the ball back to Tonali. He goes square. Cher comes onto the ball. Forward ball to Willock, challenged by Vega. Isak tried to play it first time, blocked by Chelsea. Dewsbury Hall then caught by Longstaff, and Dewsbury Hall goes down. Free kick to Chelsea, 19 minutes played, 0-0.
That's where Newcastle have to improve, because they've been in 2 or 3 really good positions. They worked it well down the left hand side with Joe Willock. He fails to put the ball in, then they come back out and go to the right and come back into the middle, and again it's sloppy play and Chelsea win the ball back.
And that's certainly a card that Longstaff didn't want on his birthday, as he was booked after a moment's hesitation from referee Chris Kavanagh. So 2 yellow cards for Newcastle United. Let's pay a visit to Celtic, shall we? Celtic Dundee, Connie McLaughlin.
Yeah, it's goalless here at the moment, but a busy first 15. Dundee forced a save from Kasper Schmeichel after a free kick wasn't cleared properly by the Celtic backline, but 2 glaring opportunities from Kyogo. Normally you'd put your mortgage on him, but both just inched wide. Celtic 0, Dundee 0.
Thanks, Connie. Gavin Wallace is going to keep us in touch with events at Pittodrie. Cucurella on that far side finds Felix. Back then to Badi Yashil. If you've just joined us on BBC Radio 5 Live, Chelsea making 11 changes as Felix hits a ball that just moves a little bit in the air. It bounces then a couple of times. Hall lets it settle as he runs away from Dewsbury Hall, and then Lewis Hall looking then for the run of Willock, and it's tidied up back to Jorgensen, and they play out very neatly from the back to Chelsea as Newcastle tried to press. Cucurella then back towards Fernandez, along the ground to Mudryk, on the stretch, couldn't get there, but Scher has given it back towards Felix, who runs at the heart of the Newcastle defence. This is João Felix to the edge of the area and right-footed over the top. Goal kick, 0-0.
Sloppy, very, very sloppy from Newcastle. Fabian Scher got caught on the ball and he realised that when he was breaking João Felix, that if he pulls him back, he'd already got a yellow card. If he does the same, he's going to be off, so he just had to let him go. And he was 1v1, he went and chopped and changed and came back onto his left foot, blazed it over.
Another chance for Chelsea, 0-0. 21 minutes played. Here is Joel Linton on this near side, the left. Hall has gone on ahead of him. Joel Linton makes a run in field to the edge of the centre circle, finds Willock, stops it, passes the ball out towards Kraft. Forward ball, right touchline, Gordon inside. Joel Linton had continued to wander across, links up with Gordon, crosses blocked. Newcastle get a throw over on that right hand side. Apart from that chance from Joel Linton very, very early on, the home side haven't created anything else.
No,
since.
they haven't. Even when they've been in and around the 18-yard box, it's been their sloppy play, hitting the front man or getting caught out with a sloppy pass, whereas Chelsea look really comfortable and sharp.
Newcastle from the throw. Kraft coming forward is adjudged to have fouled Mudryk, who tracked back with him, and it will be a Chelsea free kick inside their own penalty area. So, approaching the midway point of the first half here at St James's Park, Badi Yashil from that free kick. Cucurella, Fernandez, a large triangular passing pattern from Chelsea, and now it's Tosin who can bring the ball out of the penalty area. They got him on a free from Fulham, signed a 4-year deal. Badi Yashil now has it at the heart of that Chelsea defence. Fernandez is always available. Here he is, the Argentine. His forward ball, though, blocked by the heels of Tonali. It runs towards Joel Linton, but there wasn't much options for Joel Linton, and they've slowed it down of Newcastle. And Tonali now out towards that right back, Kraft, and then they play the ball back. It's Newcastle are giving Chelsea an opportunity to get the blue shirts back behind the ball.
You just see what Maresca thought of that pass from Enzo Fernandez. He looked back towards his bench, having a clue what he was saying, but he wasn't happy.
Here is Jorgensen with the underarm throw. But since that, they've given the ball away. There it is. He's Isak, and he won't be happy now, because Chelsea very sloppy at the back. Newcastle got it to Isak, and he swept the ball home. First time finish by Isak, right-footed, finds the bottom left-hand corner, and Newcastle United take full advantage of that, and they lead by a goal to 0.
Just as I was saying, Chelsea were looking comfortable in possession and playing some nice football. On their edge of the box, they take a gamble, and a gamble too much. They're passing it around, trying to play that one touch, and I think it's Joe Linton and Tonali read it really well, and then the ball falls kindly for Isak in the box. Doesn't need to think about it. He knows exactly where he is and just slots it under the goalkeeper, right-footed. Good finish.
I think it was Tonali who dived in for a ball that was aimed towards Enzo Fernandez to get Newcastle United that opportunity. But how many times do we see teams play out from the back and get caught out like that?
Well, it had worked really well for them on 2 or 3 occasions in the previous 5 or 10 minutes. But I always was thinking, if Newcastle can get the press right and do it with numbers, and commit numbers forward, they might just create an opportunity. That's exactly what happened. Really good work from the midfield, backing the forwards up when they go in there in the hope that they'll win it, and that's what they did.
There have been goals elsewhere in the League Cup tonight, starting at Deepdale. Maz Faruqi.
Arsenal have the lead. Gabriel Jesus lashing in. A good set-piece routine from a free kick from the left. It was chested down to him, but he still had to stretch for it. Preston 0, Arsenal 1.
As Joel Linton for Newcastle United, edge of the area. Newcastle lead by 1-0. Here is Tonali, encouraged to shoot, and he does right-footed. He just puts it wide. That was very, very close. Newcastle have their tails up. I'm guessing Aston Villa do too. Lee Blakeman.
They do, because they're level. It's 1-1. Nice move down the right. Bailey with the pullback, picked out Duran, edge of the area, bottom corner. Villa 1, Palace 1.
Alan Shearer, that Tonali effort wasn't that far wide.
Well, again, they get the press right, and it falls to him really kindly on the 18-yard box. He can just hear the crowd telling him to shoot. He didn't need a second invitation. It goes about a foot wide of that post. It was just bending away from goal, right-footed.
The goal for Newcastle United means that there is still yet to be a goalless draw between these two. Now in 32 games, going all the way back to 2008, and you can certainly hear what that goal has done for the atmosphere as well. The Newcastle United supporters generating a wonderful noise inside St James's here. 1-0 as Dundee United 0, Motherwell 1 is the latest score at Tannadice in the Scottish Premiership, and Isak has taken his tally to 38 goals in 76 appearances. That's 1 in 2. That's a good ratio. Isak now turns provider with his cross, flicked on and flicked in. Joel Willock with a header, and Newcastle United in a matter of minutes lead Chelsea by 2-0.
Well, Jason Tindall and Eddie Howe were going mad on the touchline because Isak made that run about 3 seconds earlier and they didn't find him. They could see them looking at each other thinking, why? Lewis Hall pass it. He then made the run again. He this time did pass it, and he manages to get the ball into the box, falls kindly for Willock. 2-0.
Newcastle United now have a little bit of a cushion. The free kick taken quickly, time for Isak to deliver the ball. I'm not too sure whether the last touch of Cucurella, whether it was actually behind the goal line or not. In fact, it wasn't even Cucurella, it was a Chelsea player tumbling into the goal before him. So it might be credited as an own goal, but Willock's little flick header caused the panic in the Chelsea ranks.
I'm not sure whether it was actually going in or hitting the post or just fractionally going wide or not. But I think on that occasion, if there's any doubt, then just give it to the home player who scored the goal.
Well, the computer screen to my left tells me it's gone down as a Disasi own goal, and Newcastle United lead Chelsea now by 2-0. And all that statistic about saying only in 11 games this season have they scored more than once on 2 occasions. Well, they've certainly ended talk of that now as they lead by 2-0, and a second goal has gone in at Old Trafford. Connor.
Manchester United have doubled their lead against Leicester, 2-0 inside half an hour. This one scored by Alejandro Garnacho. Dallo's cross low across the penalty area from the right hand side. The young Argentinian arriving to slam it into the roof of the net. Ruud van Nistelrooy said he wanted his team to entertain tonight. They are beginning to slip into their groove. Manchester United 2, Leicester 0.
We've heard from Connie at Celtic. Here's Gavin Wallace at Pittodrie.
13 minutes on the clock. Aberdeen 0, Rangers 0, but Aberdeen 2 really great chances. There's a great run down the right hand side from Sokolow. He managed to cut it back to Jamie McGrath. Don't know how it was saved, and then the follow up with just wide from Devlin. This game got everything so far apart from goals. Aberdeen 0, Rangers 0.
We've had 2 here at St James's Park, both to Newcastle United. Forward ball to Nkunku, couldn't get hold of it. Cher turns, tidies up, back towards Pope. Out from underneath his feet quickly as we approach the half-hour mark. Hall now to Willock. Willock being tracked by Disasi to Tonali. Tonali turns from Nkunku, still under pressure, but plays the ball back to Kelly, and then Kelly to Pope. So Newcastle, you would think now, have got a degree of control with a 2-goal cushion.
Well, again, I mean, if Newcastle continue to get their press right, because there's such a reluctance from Chelsea to actually go long, they're passing for the sake of it at the back, and they keep on getting caught.
Well, that was a foul by Badiashile, and Badiashile's foul on Kraft is going to result in a yellow card, the first for a Chelsea player tonight. 29 minutes played, Chelsea trailing by 2-0. And Newcastle United have a free kick almost midway through the Chelsea half. But 2 quick goals, and Newcastle United now just moments after had been saying that, after that Joel Linton glaring miss early on, hadn't created anything, find themselves with a 2-goal cushion. Newcastle United supporters enjoying their night here at St James's. Less so the strong travelling support of 4,883 from the capital. High line all in royal blue. Newcastle wait to take the throw. Tonali chips it forward. Isak takes it on his chest, right side of the penalty area. And it will be a goal kick. Last touch came off Isak. But all the pressure's now on Chelsea.
Similar run again though from Isak, the other side. This time from the right hand side. Quick run in behind from the free kick. Too quick for Chelsea.
And that ratio of 38 goals in 76 appearances gets the nod of approval.
It's amazing when you get one goal, isn't it, with the weekend, what the confidence does for you.
Well,
Chewy said before the game that don't be surprised if he scores tonight. Or I did anyway.
You did. You'll say it wasn't me. 15 minutes to go to the break. Newcastle United 2-0 up. Brighton 0, Liverpool 0. Aston Villa 1, Crystal Palace 1. Manchester United 2, Leicester City 0. Preston North End 0, Arsenal 1. And getting underway around now, Tottenham Manchester City. Commentary of that is on Sports Extra. The conclusion of the game will be here on 5 Live. As the ball is played out by Enzo Fernandez. Felix gives it away. Here is Tonali once again. He goes short. This is Willock. He's dragged it wide, left-footed, off target.
Once again, passing out from the back. Newcastle press them, win the ball, create an opportunity. They're just so reluctant to kick it more than 20 or 30 yards. Has to be those little 5, 10, 15-yard passes in and around the back four. That's fine when things are going well for you, but when you're in trouble and you're getting caught time after time, do something different.
Well, they keep persisting. Disasi's slip. It's gone straight out of play for a throw. For a minute I thought maybe he'd injured himself, but it was just an innocent slip, and he's back to his feet, and Newcastle have a throw. St Mirren have equalised at home to St Johnstone. St Mirren 1, St Johnstone 1 in the Scottish Premiership. To the Amex, Mike Williams.
0, Liverpool 0. The holders grew into this first half, had 2 decent chances just before the break. Slobberslide testing Steele in the Brighton goal with a reflex save, and the Liverpool captain Andy Robertson also forcing Steele into a close range save with his feet to keep the scores level. Brighton's best and only effort fell to Lamptey, played in by Adingra, but the fullback shot straight at the Liverpool keeper Yaros. Half time here at the Amex. Brighton 0, Liverpool 0.
Thank you, Mike. We've got 12 minutes to go to the break. Chelsea at the back. Toss in hurriedly, got it away to Fernandez, runs forward for Chelsea. So they attack the Gallagate end, out towards that far side to Cucurella. And then Cucurella passes the ball back to Badiashile. 13 minutes to go to the break, then still Newcastle 2-0 up. Disasi back to Tosin. Newcastle have dropped off. Everybody back behind the ball at this stage. Fernandez in the centre circle. Cucurella from an inverted roll had made a darting run forward. Instead it goes out wide to Mudryk on that far side, the left. Here now is Cucurella back to Fernandez. Dewsbury Hall just starting to wander in field, then he retreats and makes a run to provide a bit of width on this near side, the right. Arsenal have got a second goal. We'll get news of that when we can from Maz Faruqi. Here is Dewsbury Hall, but in the meantime we're going to go back to Old Trafford. Conor McNamara.
Third goal of the night. It is a goal for Leicester. Manchester United 2, Leicester 1. El Khanous with a wonderful finish outside of the boot into the bottom corner. This game, which very little happened for the opening 20 minutes, but in the 12 minutes since, we've had 3 goals. Casemiro and Garnacho for Manchester United, and now El Khanous making it Manchester United 2, Leicester City 1.
And another goal for Arsenal, Maz.
And a lovely goal from Ethan Nwaneri, edge of the area, looped in. Freddie Woodman in the Preston goal didn't even move, dipped it under the crossbar last minute. Arsenal lead here at Preston, 2-0.
Mudryk to Felix. Felix gets the shot away from 6 yards out and turned behind by Kelly for a corner kick. Chelsea trail 2-0.
Well, this time it was good play. They kept the ball and they worked it right in the way to Newcastle's 18-yard box, and it falls really nicely for Felix. Takes it with his left foot, tries to hit it with his right foot, but in the end it's a really good block and it goes out for a corner for Chelsea.
So Chelsea 2-0 down, have a corner kick over on that far side, the left. They're playing from left to right as we look. Enzo Fernandez to take it. The right arm goes aloft. It's curling in to Pope, who gets something on it, but the referee's whistle has gone. I mean, as a neutral, when Chelsea are passing the ball around the back, you're wincing. I don't know what Chelsea or Enzo Maresca must be feeling.
It's such high risk, because at the minute they're not very good at it, because they've been caught 4 or 5 times with trying to pass out from the back, and they've had very, very little success in doing it. But that's the way he plays, and that's what he wants his players to do.
Well, in an attacking sense, they've only failed to score on one occasion in the 14 games under Maresca, and that was the opening day, and it was against the champions Manchester City. So you'd expect them to get on the score sheet the way that they do play their football, but certainly they've left themselves extremely vulnerable at the back of Chelsea tonight with 10 minutes to go to the break. Here is Hall. It's away from Dewsbury Hall, and his diagonal ball finds Gordon on that far side, and it showed too much to Cucurella, who dives in. Out of play, goes for a throw. So only underway at 8:15, but already there's been a goal at Tottenham. Chris Cole.
And what a start for Tottenham Hotspur in front against Manchester City. Timo Werner with the goal. Fluent counter-attack. Lovely Johnson touch. Kulusevski squared it. Werner finished it. Tottenham 1, Manchester City 0.
Commentary of that is on Sports Extra. So it means that the only goalless game so far in tonight's League Cup ties, the remaining ties in the last 16, is that at the Amex half-time, Brighton 0, Liverpool 0. Here is Hall on this near side, infield to Isak. Isak out to Joel Linton. Challenge from behind by Vega. Isak has stayed down. The referee will give a free kick as a result. I think Chris Kavanagh was trying to let the game flow, but in the end he was given no alternative.
I think it's more beneficial for Newcastle to have the free kick, certainly in the dangerous area that it is, wide on this left-hand side.
Newcastle United then with a free kick. There's been another goal at Old Trafford. We'll be crossing there in a moment, but Tonali and Hall wait to take this free kick. Just one in the wall, that is João Felix. Chelsea have got every other Royal Blue shirt back inside their penalty area at the moment. So it'll be Hall with the outswinger off his left boot, or the inswinger off the right foot of Sandro Tonali for Newcastle United. Cher is up from the back. Joel Linton. Willock is also there. Kelly's in the mix. It is Hall. It is an outswinger. Brushes off the head of Joel Linton, and that will run out of play for a Chelsea throw on that far side. So back to Old Trafford, and news of another goal for Conor McNamara.
Manchester United 3, Leicester City 1. Bruno Fernandes, this time a deflected free kick, hit the wall. Wrong-footed Danny Wood in the Leicester goal. Manchester United 3, Leicester City 1.
The problems for Chelsea at the back, that degree of uncertainty, is that not helped by the fact that they've made the 11 changes?
Yeah, I don't suspect that helps at all in terms of game time also. Players' uncertainty, who and what they're playing with. But you still know when you're in danger, when to pass and when not to.
Oh,
just like that.
Jorgensen, that was a moment of hesitation, and in the end he gifted it straight towards Tonali. I mean, we're a night before Halloween. That's scary stuff from Chelsea at the back.
It's baffling. It really is baffling. How many times have they done it already in this game? What is there? 37 minutes gone. They must have been caught 7 or 8 times in the back four already.
Well, like watching a horror film, Enzo Maresca will be peeping behind his hands, just sort of like thinking, oh no, it's happening again. Because it's time and time that they look so uncertain in the back to Chelsea as they trail 2-0, and we've got 7 minutes to go to half-time here on BBC Radio 5 Live and the BBC Sounds app. Here is Tosin inside the centre circle to Disasi. Now back with Fernandes. Newcastle again have everybody back inside their own half. Here is Vega, finds Felix, and Kunku was going through the channel. Instead it goes out wide to Dewsbury Hall, right corner of the box, back towards Vega. Vega closed down quickly by Willock. Fernandes passes the ball short to Vega, very confined. Cucurella towards Nkunku. Newcastle will win the ball back, and then they play it out, and then just at the wrong moment when you thought they'd beaten the press, they give it away. Mudryk slips it back to Felix. Felix is going to shoot, parried away by Pope, and pushes the ball crucially away from Dewsbury Hall.
Good save. Pushed it away from danger. Wasn't sure whether he could hold it or not, but he made a decision not to, so he has to get it away from the incumbent Chelsea players, and he did exactly that.
6 minutes to go to the break. Chelsea, though, still have the ball, trailing by 2-0. Out towards Mudryk on that far side. If they were to get a goal back, by no means is this game safe yet for Newcastle United, as they trail The away side by 2-0. Dundee United have equalised at Tannadice. Dundee United 1, Motherwell 1. Another goal at Old Trafford, Conor McNamara.
Manchester United 4, Leicester City 1. Casemiro again, it came back off the post. He slammed it home from close range. Safe to say Manchester United are getting over their breakup with Erik ten Hag quite well. Manchester United 4, Leicester City 1. It's not half time yet.
Thank you, Conor. Here is Fernandes for Chelsea. Badia Shield, short diagonal ball, gets it back then from Fernandes, but they've just passing between the two of them at the minute, and in the end Isak with the interception might have just caught the ankles of Fernandes. Free kick is taken quickly, but too quickly, says referee Chris Kavanagh.
I don't think he needs to give the free kick because Chelsea had it in a very, very similar position. They wanted to continue play.
Fernandes from that free kick just nicks it into the path of Vega. Out it goes to Dewsbury Hall on this near side, the right. Back with Vega once again, but the pace is a comfortable one, and they're playing in front of Newcastle at this stage. Out to Mudryk on that far side, who drops his shoulder away from Kraft, accelerates. Mudryk bursts into the penalty area. Kraft gets back at to him and makes a challenge, and behind for a corner kick. It goes to Chelsea. 2-0, they trail.
Well done, Emil Kraft. He actually got done for pace, but he wasn't giving up. And times his tackle to perfection, and it had to be, otherwise he was giving away a penalty instead of a corner.
That's where Mudryk is so dangerous, with that abundance of pace that he possesses. Corner kick to Chelsea, far side the left. In it comes now. Pope gets something on it. Hall will be able to run the ball clear on this near side, the Newcastle left, closed down by Mudryk, so has to pass it back to Sean Longstaff. Corner of his own penalty area, and across the edge of that penalty box, Newcastle now find Kraft over on that far side with the Swede on the right. And then they go back, still looking to protect this 2-goal lead, comfortably keeping the ball. No pressure on the ball at this stage from Chelsea, who've retreated. And then Tonali almost comes to a standstill. And then Kelly, Hall on this near side. Dewsbury Hall goes towards him. Hall then gives it away to Mudryk, who's popped up on the right. Vega now has it. Dewsbury Hall on the stretch, closed down by Lewis Hall. It's like the battle of two stately homes, isn't it? Here is Tosin, meanwhile, on that far side, the left. 3 minutes to go to half time. Enzo Fernandez looks for Nkunku. His first touch takes him on the inside. He tees up Felix, who shoots, and Pope makes the save low towards his right hand side.
It's a good save. Felix chose to go to his right instead of his left hand side, but he's down really, really sharp, and he collects it well. Doesn't parry it this time, keeps hold of it, and Nkunku feeds Felix in there. Goes through the legs, perhaps, of Kelly, but he's alive and alert as Nick Pope.
They've
been
shown
an open game, hasn't it?
It has, and they've shown glimpses, haven't they, Chelsea? If they do get a goal back, this tie's very much still on, isn't it?
They've been a threat in forward positions once they've had the ball in there, but in terms of defensively, they've looked really weak and really poor. And you'd think from a Newcastle point of view that they would hope they would go on and get another goal or two.
Well, their home form this season, actually, if even back to the end of last season, that defeat to Brighton is their only loss in 13 games at St James's Park. Looking to progress into the last 8. Runners-up, of course, in 2023, and then undoubtedly they'll be hoping for a home tie in the quarter-final draw that is made later on tonight, as we have 2 minutes to go to half-time. Chelsea now back across to Tosin inside his penalty area, and Nkunku tried to spin away from Kelly, who stumbled after initially winning the ball and then presents it back towards Nkunku. He's got Mudryk away on that far side, the left, and here is the Ukrainian international as Kraft back pedals, and Mudryk to the edge of the area, and Nkunku's onto it inside the box, can't get a sight of goal. Back to Cucurella, Enzo Fernandez to Vega. Disasi joins the attack on this near side. Here is the Chelsea right back. Time to measure the cross, right-footed curling. Mudryk hits it, volley down into the ground, strikes the hand of Kraft, but Kraft could do nothing about that. That was certainly not a deliberate handball, and only half-hearted penalty appeals as then Kraft can clear, and Newcastle deal with the danger, and it'll be a Chelsea throw on the halfway line.
Yeah, straight away Chris Kavanagh was adamant, waved his hands, no penalty, and the right decision.
We've got about 60 seconds remaining of normal time at St James's Park. Newcastle United leading Chelsea by 2-0. Here is Fernandez looking for a ball over the top, but one bounce in the penalty area, and it's straight through to Nick Pope, who will just settle things down. I don't think there'll be too much added on time. I can't recall too many a stoppage in this first half.
Well, we've got a couple of yellow cards, a couple of goals, so maybe a minute or two. No more than that, I wouldn't have thought.
Alan Shearer with us here tonight as Newcastle have given it away to Disasi. That was sloppy. Disasi to Nkunku. Longstaff running back, and he will get a goal kick. Disasi had continued to run into the penalty area, but Longstaff's attempted clearance comes off the shin of Disasi. But it was a good run to curb the threat by Sean Longstaff from midfield.
Yeah, he did well to spot the danger. This time it was Newcastle getting caught trying to play out from the back. Disasi just tries to find that final ball in there which lets him down, but good play from Longstaff and protecting his back four.
Newcastle United, who've got Arsenal here at the weekend, so it's imperative for such a daunting fixture that they got back to winning ways. 3 without a win before tonight, and Alan quite rightly is spot on. Just the additional 60 seconds which we're now into here at St James's Park on BBC Radio 5 Live and also the BBC Sounds app, as Willock just stumbles off the field of play. Might have just jarred his right hip there. It was an awkward fall right in front of the dugouts. He's back, but he's feeling that. Is Willock, as we're into stoppage time here. Here is Fernandez waiting to deliver the ball. Instead, along the ground, it bypasses Vega to Disasi, and now with Vega at a walking pace once again. Cucurella is in the centre circle, very tight, passing from Chelsea in the midfield. Badiashile out towards Mudryk. One opportunity maybe to run at Kraft, but he shows him on the inside, and Mudryk passes the ball back. And time is desperately running out for Chelsea as they give the ball away through Cucurella. And Newcastle United, mistake by Badiashile, and Gordon is away. Gordon now on the right hand side. Isak and Willock joining the attack. Cross comes in, and then at the far post, Willock. It was a difficult chance. He was running at pace. It was around knee height. Couldn't connect with his left foot, and in the end he blazed it high into the Leesy's end.
Yeah, really good play from Anthony Gordon. Sloppy from Chelsea, and Badiashile lets the ball roll underneath his foot, and once Gordon's away from him, he's not catching him. It was just a matter of whether Willock could stay up with him. He managed to do that, but not get the connection that he wanted with a wonderful ball in from Gordon.
What are your thoughts then as the half-time whistle sounds and Newcastle lead 2-0?
I was getting concerned again. Newcastle missed an absolute sitter through Joe Linton. I'm thinking not one of those nights again where you create, don't take your chances. But they've punished Chelsea, who have been really, really sloppy at the back. Chelsea have had 1 or 2 decent chances themselves, but Newcastle have been the better team. There's no doubt about that.
Dewsbury Hall, Vega and Felix all for Chelsea have had opportunities. Goals from Isak and a Disasi own goal in the space of 3 minutes, though, give Newcastle United a 2-0 lead at half-time. We're going to get an update from Pittodrie, and then where there's been a goal, and then after that you'll hear from Steve Crossman presenting at Old Trafford. But first, Gavin Wallace.
It's a goal in for Aberdeen. Nicky Devlin at the back post. Mackenzie whipped it in. It was headed on to the Scotland defender at the far side, completely unmarked, and he slammed home to give Aberdeen the lead on 32. Aberdeen 1, Rangers 0.
If you believe it, in this incredible first half here at Old Trafford, which is only just about to come to an end, Conor McNamara, we have had another goal.
We've had 6 goals in the game now. Manchester United 4, Leicester City 2, and I think, I doubt if Eric Ten Hag is going to be watching this game, but he'll obviously hear all about it. He'll be surprised at some of the things. He'll think, well, why didn't that happen when I was there? But I think 1 or 2 things will be quite familiar to him too. El Kanu scoring for Leicester, Conor Cody just getting his first goal for Leicester there, and a game in which very little happened in the opening 20 minutes. We've now had these 6 goals over the subsequent 25 minutes. But this is what Ruud van Nistelrooy said. He said, we want to entertain tonight, we want to give the fans something to get behind. I think that's absolutely what we've seen. So Casemiro and Garnacho made it 2-0 for Van Nistelrooy's team. Bilal El Kanu reduced Leicester's deficit to 2-1. Then Manchester United go to run and get it up to 4-1 before Conor Cody gets it back to 4-2. And Casemiro, 2 of the goals, he scored the last goal of the Eric Ten Hag reign, remember, the goal at West Ham at the weekend, and getting the first goal of the post-Ten Hag era here as well. We haven't actually reached half-time yet. There's an injury to Rashford that is just delaying play, but Garnacho's goal, Steve, which no VAR in the League Cup, that was tight. Leicester bench were very upset about that. That's one of those where Ten Hag would say, well, typical close one like that. Of course we get one of those when, after I've been given the sack. Bruno Fernandes, free kick, deflects off the wall. Again, Erik ten Hag from afar going, where was that stroke of luck when I needed? Maybe they've banked up a little bit. That's all I can think. But not half time yet. Sir Alex Ferguson is here. We know that he's been away watching other teams for recent games, but he's back at Old Trafford tonight, and Manchester United are back, at the very least, entertaining. Manchester United 4, Leicester 2, not half time yet.
Quite the night for Five Live Voices, because he's actually sitting next to Michael Vaughan, is Sir Alex Ferguson, and also Conor Cody scoring that goal at the Stretford end. Let's check in on Brighton Liverpool. Mike Williams.
Lightning start for the holders in this second half. Brighton 0, Liverpool 1. Cody Gakpo opening the scoring for Liverpool after 30 seconds into this second half. He tricked his way inside the box onto his right foot, unleashed a curler which flew past Jason Steele into the side of the net. Liverpool definitely deserve it. They lead Brighton in the early stages here of the second half by a goal to nil.
Half-time whistle has now gone here at Old Trafford, so Manchester United leading Leicester by 4 goals to do. A big Rude that you might just have heard faintly in the background as he disappeared down the tunnel. You touched on it there, Conor, but we've got to speak about it more. It is remarkable how all 4 of Manchester United's goals, they just feel like they wouldn't have happened when Erik ten Hag was manager.
Yeah, give me lucky generals, as the famous quote is. He didn't have a huge amount of slice of luck, did he, during the job? But to be successful in football, you've got to. I mean, what I've been thinking about is, what could you say is different? What have Manchester United done differently here, scoring 4 goals in the first half that they weren't doing under ten Hag? And I don't see it often. It's same formation, same sort of patterns, getting it wide. Initially, they were struggling with those deliveries from wide positions, as we're used to seeing them doing under ten Hag. The difference tonight, quite bluntly, has been that slice of luck, that there is no VAR, that the goal doesn't get ruled off, that the wall deflects it away from the goalkeeper, not closer to the goalkeeper. Those little things that you need to be successful as a football team, that maybe Manchester United have struggled with. But Erik ten Hag from afar, I'm sure he will, when he sees the detail of this, will think, well, typical.
Also, Ruud van Nistelrooy just looks like he's having the time of his life. I saw after the second Manchester United goal, when it sort of looked like Garnacho might have been offside, he went over to the 4th official. And listen, I'm not a great lip reader, but what I will say is, he goes over to the 4th official. The 4th official says no and sort of shakes his head, and then Van Nistelrooy sort of touches his heart and breathes a sigh of relief. I'm pretty sure the question was, is there VAR in the League Cup?
It can only be that. There was a relief there. Those are the little things that he won't be so well versed in, but he's looked the part, got a great ovation when he came out. He spent most of the game on the edge of the technical area, which I think always helps it. Certain clubs, particularly Manchester United here, it's always been said about Newcastle as well, the support want to physically see the manager being up and being involved. They don't want you to sit back and look from afar. The Casemiro goal was remarkable, and that's one thing that, Ruud van Nistelrooy, for all the goals he scored for Manchester United, he was the poacher in the penalty area. Apparently he only ever scored 1 goal from outside the box, Van Nistelrooy. The first goal scored by the team under him as Manchester United manager, of course, comes from outside the penalty area.
We started the night with one team from outside the Premier League left in the League Cup. It looks like by the end of the night we won't have any, Maz Faruqi.
Yes, because Preston are trailing here 2-0 at Deepdale to the Premier League side Arsenal. The first goal from Gabriel Jesus midway through the first half, a really nice finish in a crowded penalty area. He hit it on the volley after an Arsenal free kick routine, and Paul Heckingbottom will be very frustrated that his team gave away that free kick deep in their own half, because aside from that they've stayed very concentrated and had a decent chance from a header which went over the crossbar from Liam Lindsay. But the second Arsenal goal was a bit special. Curled in, edge of the area from Ethan Nwaneri. Freddie Woodman didn't move on the Preston goal line as it went past him into the back of his own net. Preston 0, Arsenal 2 at half time.
Villa Park next, Lee Blakeman.
Villa 1, Palace 1. Lively start from Palace, saw them take the lead after just 8 minutes. Cross from the right was perfect for a powerful header from Eze on the penalty spot for 1-0. Eze then went off injured just after that, so a worry for Palace ahead of the Wolves game on Saturday, especially because they've lost Adam Wharton to injury during the first half here as well. Villa's equaliser came from John Duran, left foot shot, edge of the area, into the bottom corner. Matt Turner couldn't keep it out. It was a weak left hand that he tried to get to it. Villa have been the better better side since then, but at half-time, Steve, it's Villa 1, Palace 1.
This feels big. Penalty at Pittodrie, Gavin Wallace.
Yeah, this is massive. Well, just a wee second or two, I think, from it being taken as Jamie McGrath steps up. It was Toffee Eskinen hit the ball and John Suter bent down to header it. He started with his hand behind his back, but his left hand came out. A huge review, on-field review from the referee, John Beaton. Just as McGrath steps up, and it's been saved down to the right-hand side from Jack Butland. It was such a poor penalty, Steve. He had a great chance there to make double the lead. He didn't. It was a soft penalty and really, really, really easy for Jack Butland down to his right-hand side. It remains Aberdeen 1, Rangers 0.
Could be a very big moment. As it stands, though, Aberdeen are going top of the Scottish Premiership. What about Celtic at home to Dundee? Connie McLaughlin.
It's goalless at half-time, but as you can imagine, everyone inside the stadium hanging on every word that Gavin was saying there, listening in their own ways, wondering if that penalty was going to go in. And the biggest cheer so far, actually, in the first half was hearing that Nicky Devlin goal at Pittodrie. Football fans, you know what they're like. Chances, though, here have been not quite as forthcoming, maybe, for the league leaders as some might have thought, compared to the last time certainly Dundee were here. It was 6-0 at half-time. Celtic's trademark 4-3-3, Steve's been a bit ineffective compared to normal. Dundee are flooding the box, defending deeply, and out of possession. Celtic are sort of sluggish a little bit and trying to get back into their shape. But fair play to Dundee, that is obviously the plan, and it seems to be working for now. At half-time, Celtic 0, Dundee 0.
We've had dramatic halves all over the place, including at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Spurs, Man City, Chris Coles.
Spurs are 2-0 up over the 8-time winners of the League Cup, and what a glorious second goal this is from Pape Sarr. The gas from the crowd who've just seen it back on the big screens. Short corner, work to Sarr on the edge of the box, and he bends it in from around 20 yards at Stefan Ortega's front post. Thoroughly deserved. Tottenham have been excellent, and Manchester City have yet to threaten. Tottenham 2, Manchester City 0, 26 minutes.
Now the draw for the quarter-finals is going to take place just after we go off air, but you will hear about it on 5 Live, I'm sure, after we come off. Conor McNamara, before I let you go and get a half-time cup of tea here, trivia question, and I'm going to give you a small clue here. It relates to a big decision being taken by a lot of people next week. Okay, that's your clue.
Okay.
Who did the 1991 League Cup quarter-final draw with Jimmy Greaves?
Jimmy Greaves. 1991. Was it someone who was going to make the Rumbelows Cup great again?
Yes, it was.
Was it Donald Trump?
It was Donald Trump. It was, not a joke, Donald Trump did the 1991 League Cup quarter-final draw. Next Tuesday night, 10 p.m, America Decides on 5 Live with the brilliant Nuala McGovern and Ros Atkins. Donald Trump, Kamala Harris. That's going to be a great programme. It'll go in all through the night as well. Of course, we've had the budget today. So many great programmes on College Green. Matt's programme earlier was absolutely brilliant. You can go back and listen to all of that on BBC Sounds. We're mostly focused on the football tonight. Second half commentary on the way from St James's Park with Newcastle leading Chelsea by 2-0. Here at Old Trafford in Ruud van Nistelrooy's first game in charge. Manchester United 4, Leicester 2. Let's get the news now on 5 Live with John Barnes.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
Independent analysis of Labour's first budget in 14 years says it will increase the tax burden to its highest level on record at more than 38%. The Chancellor, Rachel Reeves, set out a string of tax increases in the Commons aimed at raising £40 billion. Government spending will increase by £70 billion a year over the next 5 years, with more money for the NHS, education and schools. To pay for this, capital gains tax will go up and £24 billion will be raised by increasing employers' national insurance contributions to 15%. Chris Bingham is the chair of Green Arc Limited in West Yorkshire, which helps companies move to green energy. He says this change will affect his business.
It wasn't a huge surprise. It had been publicised, I think, quite widely, so it's pretty much what we expected, but it does reduce our ability to pay more pay rises next year, invest in the business, so it will have an impact. I think inevitably, certainly over a period of the next 2 or 3 years, we will have less money to pay our staff in terms of pay rises.
The Chancellor has announced inheritance tax will apply to farms worth more than £1 million. Previously, such land was exempt from inheritance tax when being passed on to the next generation. The leader of the opposition, Rishi Sunak, said the budget contained broken promise after broken promise, and the Chancellor had decided to let borrowing rip. 95 people have now been confirmed dead after catastrophic flash flooding in the east and south of Spain. Dozens of people remain unaccounted for. Consuelo Tarazona is the mayor of Horno de Alcedo, a town very close to the centre of Valencia, which experienced some of the worst effects of the flash floods.
Sobre las 8 de la tarde empezó a venir agua.
By 8 p.m. in the night, water started coming in great amounts and the town was flooded in minutes. The currents were so quick, and we called the emergency services, who started rescuing some people who had water up their necks, but we've had a very terrible night.
That's Consuelo Tarazona, the mayor of Horno de Alcedo.
I'm Ros Atkins.
And I'm Nuala McGovern.
And as America chooses its next president, join us for an eventful election night, live from Washington.
The urgency of this moment is clear.
The most important day in the history of this country.
America decides.
Throughout next Tuesday night from 10.
And on Wednesday, we'll bring you the results and the reaction on 5 Live Breakfast.
I created one of the greatest economies in the history of our country.
Let's not go back. It's time to turn the page.
The US presidential election on 5 Live and BBC Sounds.
This is 5 Live Sports
with Steve Crossman.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
We've had an absolutely belting night of League Cup action already, and I'm sure there's much more drama to come. Remember, any of these games, level after 90 minutes, we go straight to a penalty shootout. Here at Old Trafford, Ruud van Nistelrooy has had a heck of a first half in charge. It's Manchester United 4, Leicester 2 at the break. Right now on 5 Sports Extra, Spurs Man City. Chris Coles.
Spurs leading Manchester City by 2-0 with 15 minutes to play until half-time. Timo Werner's early finish, clinical Spurs counter-attack, took it really nicely, and Pape Sarr's curling effort from the edge of the area just a couple of moments ago. Manchester City struggling to find their rhythm. A lot of their big hitters are on the bench as Gundogan swings a free kick in, but over the crossbar, hence the Spurs cheers. Ederson, Kovacic, Haaland, Bernardo Silva, Gvardiol, all on the bench, but the likes of Foden, Savinho, Mateus Nunes, Gundogan are playing, but yet to really click. The only downside from what's been an excellent half for Spurs, an injury to Mickey van der Ven. He went down in his own box, pulled his shirt over his head in disappointment, and he went straight down the tunnel. Ange Postecoglou will hope that's not too serious, but he'll be delighted with the opening 32 minutes at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Spurs 2, Manchester City 0.
That one is on 5 Sports Extra. We'll join it in full here on 5 Live once we're done at St James's Park. Gavin Wallace, are you still playing in the first half?
Yeah, we are. It was an 8 o'clock kick-off, to be fair, but we've got 4 minutes of added time. Aberdeen 1, Rangers 0. It really should be Aberdeen 2, Rangers 0. Rangers haven't really taken heed of any of the warnings. The goal came Nicky Devlin on 32. It was a great ball in from McKenzie. Keskinen headed it on, Devlin unmarked, and then McGrath had a penalty with a reasonably, 4 minutes clearly, lengthy review. Just by the way, Cyril Dessels is trying to get through on goal, and nothing comes of it. But yeah, the penalty was a really good chance. McGrath stepped up. It was so poor. Ross McCausland has just pulled one back. No. Calm down, Steve. As you were, offside. It's okay, it's fine. I told you we'd have everything at this game tonight, didn't I? Absolutely. A missed penalty, a goal offside. Well, 1-0 as we hurtle towards half-time to Aberdeen.
Thank you, Gavin. Other scores then in Celtic, and at the moment the big winners of the day are going to be Hearts, because they were rock bottom of the table at the start of play, but they are leading by 1-0 at the break against Kilmarnock. So Hearts 1, Kilmarnock 0, Dundee United 1, Motherwell 1, it's Ross County 0, Hibs 0, also 1-1 in the game between St Mirren and St Johnstone as well. And as we heard from Connie, Celtic 0, Dundee 0 at half time. We will keep you up to date with everything happening here at Old Trafford during second half commentary from St James's Park. Ian.
Underway already. Newcastle United leading Chelsea by 2-0. Neither side has made a change. Pope in goal, Kraft, Scher, Kelly and Hall. Longstaff, Tonali and Joel Linton, Willock, Isak and Gordon for Newcastle. Black and white striped shirts, black shorts, playing from left to right as we look. So therefore are kicking down the hill towards the Gallowgate's end in this second period as Cher steps out of defence. I'll give you the Chelsea side in a moment, but Cher continues to run forward. He threads it, looking towards Gordon, cut out by a sliding Cucurella, who have Jorgensen in goal. Remember, Chelsea making 11 changes from the side that beat Newcastle in the Premier League at the weekend. Disasi at right back, Badiashile, Tosin and Cucurella, Dewsbury Hall, Enzo Fernandez, Vega, Mudryk and Nkunku and João Felix. So neither side making a change. But I wonder how long Enzo Maresca will leave it, Alan Shearer, if Chelsea continue to trail 2-0.
Well, he's certainly got some good players on the bench if he feels he needs to. Cole Palmer for one.
Palmer was warming up extensively during the half-time break. Here is Gordon for Newcastle United. BBC Radio 5 Live and the BBC Sounds app. Longstaff, short forward ball, breaks back towards Longstaff, sees an area of room, runs into it, turns, loses it. No, he doesn't lose it, gets it to Willock, who under pressure forces the ball back to Lewis Hall, and now with Kelly, who's playing as a central defender alongside Cher for Newcastle United tonight. Just the atmosphere, just a little bit more subdued at the start of the second half. It was rocking though when Newcastle scored those two quick goals in the space of 3 minutes in the first half. As Cher to Gordon, blatant push in the back from Cucurella. Free kick to Newcastle United. There's been a goal at Brighton. It's a 7:30 kickoff. Mike Williams.
Brighton 0, Liverpool 2. Cody Gakpo at the double. The Dutchman has his second of the evening. Clinical from Liverpool, who had just been under a spell of Brighton pressure for the last 10 minutes, but on the break they sprint forward, ball low into the feet of Gakpo, who slotted low past Steele and made no mistake, to the delight of the travelling fans. Brighton 0, Liverpool 2.
Well, my heart was in my mouth there, and I'm not even associated with Chelsea, because Jorgensen, the goalkeeper, has done a little turn inside his 6-yard area. Gordon herring down at him. Might have actually just hobbling a little bit is Gordon. He got away with that, did Jorgensen. But once again, this high-risk attitude from Chelsea continues.
Little back flip in your own 6-yard box from the goalkeeper when Anthony Gordon's breathing down on you.
Well, certainly brave from Jorgensen.
I can think of another word. I wouldn't describe it as brave.
It means elsewhere in the League Cup that there's only one tie that actually is level. Every other tie has at least a 2-goal cushion. Brighton 0, Liverpool 2, Villa 1, Palace 1, Manchester United 4, Leicester 2, Preston 0, Arsenal 2, Tottenham 2, Manchester City 0. And commentary of that is on Sports Extra. Here we are on 5 Live and the BBC Sounds app. As the ball is hit diagonally out to Mudryk on this near side the left, gets it out from underneath his feet, attacking Hall. Kraft gets the cross from the left, comes out towards Fernandez, plays it out to Disasi, midway through the Newcastle half, comes to a standstill. Vega now takes over for Chelsea, and now with Badiashile along the ground to Mudryk, quickly closed down by Kraft. Mudryk runs in field. Newcastle United, with the exception of Isak, had everybody back behind the ball. Here is Fernandez, finds Cucurella, and Nkunku with a shot. Brave block coming in from Kelly, just threw himself in front of that goal-bound shot. Newcastle United, the referee has actually played the advantage. He was about to blow his whistle as Willock steams away. Willock with pace enters the penalty area. Vega's gone back with him. Willock has done well, delivers the cross. Here is Isak. Cushion control off his left boot, edge of the area, Tonali can't get a shot away. Shot comes in from Hall and saved by Jorgensen. Good counter-attack by Newcastle. Alan.
Great counter-attack, but what a magnificent tackle it was from Lloyd Kelly inside his own box, from blocking that shot. I think it was from Nkunku. And then Willock finds the ball on the halfway line, and there's no one going to stop him. Doesn't half make a difference when he's in the team and he can do that and drive and drag that ball 50 or 60 yards, just exactly what he did there.
Did very, very well, did Joe Willock. Half-time at Pittodrie. Gavin Wallace.
Yeah, Aberdeen 1, Rangers 0. That goal, Nicky Devlin's third of the season on 32 minutes. Jack McKenzie's ball in, headed in by Keskinen, and Nicky Devlin with the freedom of Aberdeen to blast home beyond Butland gives Aberdeen the lead. Aberdeen 1, Rangers 0.
The way this game is being played, you sense more goals.
Absolutely, yeah. Both teams very much like the first half, creating chances for each other straight away.
Here is Cucurella, and again in that inverted role, out to João Felix, who comes into it now left-hand side of the penalty area. He turns, Kraft nicks it away from him. Did well under pressure, did Emil Kraft. Gordon then away from Enzo Fernandez. Gordon now, with his pace, will run forward over the halfway line. He's got Joel Linton and Isak going on ahead of him as Gordon just can't get past Badia Shield. Went into a firm challenge with Cucurella. Cucurella went up in the air. There's a push in the back from Badia Shield on Gordon. And the referee is going to show a yellow card here to Anthony Gordon as Joel Linton now gets involved with Badia Shield. Tossin is also pushing away the Brazilian midfielder. And it's just starting to boil over a little bit, simmering out there on the pitch as the referee will show yellow to Gordon.
Gordon got frustrated because he should have done better with the pass for Isak. Isak had made the run in behind and Gordon didn't find him and it gets blocked and then he loses the ball. And then he goes into that crunching tackle there with Cucurella and rightly gets a yellow card.
The third Newcastle United player to be booked. Anthony Gordon, Sean Longstaff and Fabian Schär. Badia Shield had already been booked for Chelsea as Cucurella is back on his feet and in fact he's making a darting run through the middle. He's playing as a centre forward, the Chelsea left back at the moment, as Vega spreads it out to Mudryk on this near side. What probably didn't help him actually was that Madueke was just starting his run up and I'm sure that with peripheral vision would have seen him in the corner of his right eye because he did seem to be distracted as that ball he had to try and control, which he failed to do, and it goes out for a Newcastle throw. Schär clears it. Badia Shield turns and plays it to Tossin. Left of the centre circle, now to Disasi. Dewsbury Hall running out towards that far side, the right. Chelsea playing from right to left, attacking the Leesy's end. Badia Shield to Cucurella. He continues to stay forward. Fernandez carves the ball to Mudryk in space. Mudryk running into the penalty area left hand side and Nkunku stumbled. First touch went away from him. Chelsea lose the ball and Longstaff back to Kraft. Gordon back to Longstaff. Newcastle give it away. Badia Shield hits it early. Layoff by Felix to Nkunku. Cleared by Kraft. Cushion layoff by Joel Linton to Willett. They've got two runners away on that left hand side. Joel Linton and also Lewis Hall. It's Lewis Hall running forward now, left hand side. Cross takes a deflection, saved by the goalkeeper Jorgensen.
Didn't really have the option that he wanted, Lewis Hall, when he looked up down the left hand side. He wanted to whip it across the 6-yard box, but when he looked up there was actually no one in there. Isak was trying his best to get in there but just quite couldn't get in there.
It remains an open cup tie.
So open, both teams really open. Chelsea committing that extra man in midfield which is causing Newcastle problems, whether that's Cucurella or Felix when they get the ball in there, which is giving them space.
Here is Mudryk entering the penalty area left hand side. Cross comes to the edge of the area. Joel Linton has got time to turn up towards Isak, holds off Tossin, the Swedish international, but ultimately loses the ball. Chelsea had outnumbered him there with royal blue shirts as they attack that Leesy's end. Here is Mudryk, Cucurella on the overlap. Mudryk, though, will use him as a decoy. Right-footed will run infield now to Felix with his back to goal inside the D. To Mudryk, man over is Dewsbury Hall, right corner of the area. Dewsbury Hall now left-footed cross is a deep one. Felix will leave it for Cucurella, heads it back. It will reach Enzo Fernandez, but Tonali stood firm, got the block in. Vega gets to the loose ball first. Chelsea building up the pressure. The Newcastle crowd respond and try and offer some vocal encouragement with 10 minutes into the second half. Newcastle United leading by 2-0. We can hear the travelling support high up in the gods in the Leesy's end. Nearly 5,000 of them Chelsea. Fernandez looking for the run of Felix. Pope's come out. Dewsbury Hall shot charged down by Lewis Hall on the edge of the area, and Pope actually will head it out of play for a throw. He's going to get a yellow card there for delaying the restart because it bounced quickly back off the advertising hoardings and he prevented it from reaching Dewsbury Hall.
Yeah, it was his mistake anyway. He came for the ball and couldn't quite get it. Fell to Dewsbury Hall, who couldn't work his touch out and get his effort at goal, and Pope goes chasing the ball, heads it out for a throw-in but then kicks it back away again.
Stoppage in play. Kelly is down inside the Newcastle United penalty area. Former England captain Alan Shearer with us here tonight on BBC Radio 5 Live. And the Rugby Union Internationals return to 5 Live this weekend and return with a bang. England, New Zealand on Sports Extra, 3:10 each of the next 4 weekends. We will have the coverage for you on the 5 Live network as we're back underway here in the League Cup at St James's Park, with Newcastle still leading with those 2 first half goals. Mudryk on the left-hand side. Helped out by Joelinton for Newcastle. Fernandez now to Tosin. Disasi back to Tosin inside the centre circle. Fernandez will now take over infield, gets it back from Vega. Patient play by Chelsea. 11 minutes into this second period. Madueke is going to be coming on for Chelsea as we'll go to Old Trafford and Conor McNamara.
Still Manchester United 4, Leicester City 2, as it was at half-time. 2 goals from Casemiro, who's now got 3 goals in the last 2 games. Bruno Fernandes has finally gotten his first goal of the season. Garnacho with the other one for the host. Leicester's goals for El Khanous and Conor Cody, his first for the club. It's Manchester United 4, Leicester 2, 53 minutes played.
We were underway at 7:45 here at St James's Park as we're going to go to Brighton, but there's just been a goal at Deepdale. Maz Faruqi.
And Arsenal have a third. He's just been on the pitch for a matter of minutes. Substitute Kai Havertz with it. Preston 0, Arsenal 3. This one done and dusted, I think. 3-0 Arsenal lead.
So to that 7:30 kick-off, Mike Williams.
Still Brighton 0, Liverpool 2, 20 minutes to go here, and with Liverpool 2-0 up, Arne Slot has just brought on Mo Salah and Darwin Núñez, replacing the goal scorer who's got both this evening, Cody Gakpo and Dominic Szoboszlai. So Slot clearly either thinks this one's not done yet or he wants an emphatic performance. He's brought on the big guns. Brighton 0, Liverpool 2.
Newcastle lead 2-0. Madueke is on for Dewsbury Hall. That was the Chelsea change as we approach the hour mark here at St James's Park. Gordon, far side the left, away from Madueke, his England teammate. Tonali quickly plays it out towards Hall. Hall delivers the cross. It's a deep one inside the penalty area, and it will run out of play for a Chelsea throw. You'd alluded to the fact in the first half that Gordon might change, and he is now operating on that left-hand side.
Yeah, he is. He's on that left, and Joelinton's come over to the right-hand side.
Here is Cher, closed down by Nkunku. Barge in the back, free kick, right in front of Eddie Howe, who helps his captain to his feet. And Cher just tries to get Nkunku away from the ball as they wait and just bide their time to take the throw. They're in no real hurry to take it. Jason Tindall is pointing that they actually go back at the moment, as we'll get an update from Tottenham and Chris Coles.
Tottenham 2, Manchester City 0 into 4 minutes of first half stoppage time. Manchester City have come close. A Phil Foden free kick 25 yards out. Hit it well, but just over the bar. Tottenham 2, Manchester City 0.
Reminder, that's on Sports Extra, and at the conclusion of this game we'll have commentary of that match here then on 5 Live, as we're with you through until 10:30 tonight on BBC Radio 5 Live. Cucurella to Felix, quickly lost out to Cher, but Cucurella wins the ball back for Chelsea. He continues to vacate his left-back duties, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does that, and that provides a space if Newcastle can win that ball. But what he does for Chelsea, the positive side, is he creates an overload in that midfield where Felix is and where Nkunku's coming into.
Tosin out to Disasi on that far side the right. Felix will help it on its way to Madueke on the Chelsea right in front of the east stand, but Chelsea are forced to go back because Newcastle are pressing. Disasi the right back, infield to Fernandez, and all of a sudden Chelsea find themselves back with Tosin on the edge of their own penalty area, as Badiashile now will leave it for Vega, playing in midfield for Chelsea tonight, and finds his midfield teammate Fernandez, who gets it back after a briefest of touches from Disasi. Now to Felix, forward diagonal ball, and Nkunku's onto it, enters the penalty area, runs away from Cher, but Cher actually makes a very well-timed challenge with his left foot and gets it out for a corner kick.
It's actually a really good run from Nkunku, but Fabian Cher does really, really well, stays with him and has to time it because it's in the penalty box. Time his tackle. He did it so well. Slid in, but gives the corner away.
As we mentioned in the first half, next goal absolutely crucial in this tie where Newcastle United, with an hour played, lead by 2-0. Madueke far side the right, in swinging corner kick, headed behind at the near post, and behind for another corner kick for Chelsea, as 2 balls are actually going in that direction for Madueke. So Enzo Fernandez will just make sure that other one stays off the field of play. Madueke lazily adjusts it with his left boot, then touches it with his right hand. The right hand then goes aloft for the England international. In swinging corner, incoming. Pope under pressure from Vega, punches it away. Clearance only as far as Cucurella to Mudryk outside the penalty area. Chips it forward. Headed out then by Kelly. Out towards the Chelsea right. Madueke away from Gordon. Enters the penalty area. Goes to ground. Referee had a good view of that. Says no penalty. And there is no VAR. That's the other good thing about the League Cup. No VAR until the semi-final stage.
Does that mean you don't like VAR?
Well, judging by you were smirking, I think you agree as well, don't you?
I do. I like it when it's run properly, but it's not been very often.
Let's go to Tottenham, Chris Coles.
Manchester City are back in it right on the stroke of half-time. Mateus Nunes with a finish at the back post. Savinho found him. Nunes, tidy finish. Tottenham 2, Manchester City 1.
If that was you throwing me under the bus, I'm taking you with me.
We're allowed to say we don't like it, aren't we?
We are. Badia Shields forward ball. Mudryk left-hand side. Cuts it back. Oh, it came off at a funny angle from Nkunku's right boot, and then Cucurella drives it left-footed up in the air, and then Nkunku challenges Pope and heads it wide. That was bizarre, the touch from Nkunku. It came off a really weird angle.
They got away with one there, Newcastle. Really good work, really quick work down the left-hand side from Mudryk. Good ball in behind, and he actually looks up and he picks Nkunku out. He just doesn't he can't sort his feet out quick enough. Really good play from Mudryk. Big chance.
Newcastle United are going to be making a change. Bruno Guimaraes is going to be coming on. And we're also going to see Will Asula coming on as well. The Danish forward, the young man who they signed from Sheffield United. So Isak is going to be coming off. Will Asula will replace him. His 3 goals for Sheffield United were actually all in the cups, actually all in the FA Cup to be precise. As Asula is on, and Bruno Guimaraes coming on to the midfield, and going off was it Joe Willock? Willock. So Guimaraes is on, Willock is off. Double change made by Newcastle United. Conor McNamara on Old Trafford.
Another goal, 7th of the night. We've not played an hour yet. It's Manchester United 5, Leicester City 2. Bruno Fernandes, who hadn't scored at all this season for Manchester United before tonight, has got his second. Dreadful back pass by Okoli. Way too short for Danny Ward. Bruno Fernandes able to nip in, dragged it under his studs to bring it around the keeper and slammed it into the net. Manchester United 5, Leicester 2, half an hour to go.
Now remember, at the top of the Scottish Premiership, Aberdeen were leading Rangers by 1-0 in an 8 o'clock kickoff. They were looking to go 2 points clear of Celtic, but there's now been a goal at Parkhead. Connie McLaughlin.
Celtic 1, Dundee 0, which means Celtic go back to the top of the table as it stands. 2 goals in 2 games for Alistair Johnson. He just came on as a substitute. I was just going to say he's on to shore things up on that right hand side. I didn't expect him to be on to get the goal that might potentially win this for Celtic. Also, James Forrest just come on as a substitute as well. 63 minutes on the clock. Celtic 1, Dundee 0.
Fernandes with a cross, headed away by Kelly. Disasi tries to win it. In fact, he'll let it go out of play for a corner kick. Hearts 1, Kilmarnock 1. So Killy have equalised at Tynecastle, and St Mirren now leads St Johnstone by 2-1. Newcastle leading here 2-0 against Chelsea. We're in the 65th minute on BBC Radio 5 Live and the BBC Sounds app. Chelsea have a corner kick in front of the Leazes End on that far side, the right. Madueke strokes it back to Fernandes, who goes infield to Cucurella. Back towards Fernandes, edges his way forward, right-footed cross comes in, headed up by Joel Linton, rather than away, and then stabbed out of play for a goal kick. It's got to be a goal kick. Came off Madueke. The referee, though, has set a corner. We'll quickly go to Lee Blakeman at Villa Park.
Villa 1, Palace 1. Villa should be ahead, though. The ball's just ping-ponged around the penalty area. Fell to Durant, 6 yards out. Put it wide of the bottom corner. Villa 1, Palace 1.
I can only think he was off the field of play. Madueke then with the corner. It's a flow one. It was almost going to go all the way through. It's gone behind for another corner.
Yeah, Newcastle under pressure. Chelsea have done well the second half. Have managed to find a rhythm in their play, and they're causing Newcastle problems, particularly down this left-hand side with Mudryk.
Madueke waits to take the corner again on that right-hand side. Half-time at Tottenham. Tottenham 2, Manchester City 1. Madueke now, high one, deep towards the far post. Excellent claim by Pope. strong, assured handling by the England goalkeeper. A goal at Brighton, Mike Williams.
Maybe this one isn't over yet. Brighton 1, Liverpool 2, and it's Simon Adingra with a follow-up after an initial effort from Evan Ferguson was saved by the Liverpool keeper Yaros, and Brighton are back in it with 9 minutes to go. Brighton 1, Liverpool 2.
I was about to say the only tie that remains level is at Villa Park, but that's no longer the case. Lee Blakeman.
Because Palace are ahead. Villa 1, Palace 2. Villa caught playing out from the back. The ball fell to Kamada, edge of the area, and rocketed it straight in. Villa 1, Palace 2.
Manchester United lead Leicester 5-2, Preston 0, Arsenal 3, 2-0 to Newcastle here at St James's Park. 66 minutes played. All the reaction on a busy night of football, both in England and Scotland, on the 5 Live Football Daily tomorrow. As Madueke sends over a cross from the right, over the head of Mudryk. Joel Linton runs into trouble and Cucurella as Chelsea get it back. Here is Enzo Fernandez, edge of the area, stopped with a sight of goal by Longstaff, forced away by Osula, running and chasing and harrying as Vega turns away from the young Dane, out towards Disasi. Madueke waits as they've doubled up on him, plays it in field. Disasi joins the attack, tries to roll away from Guimaraes, who wins the ball for Newcastle United and has Osula streaking through the middle if he can release him. But the ball will be easily tidied up by Tosin. Alan Shearer.
Newcastle just got to try and keep hold of the ball when they get it back, because Chelsea have been much improved in this second half. They'll come right into it, taking a lot of play, as I said, particularly down this left-hand side, and every player's looking sharp on the ball now.
Well, certainly Newcastle United will take nothing for granted. That League Cup quarter-final at Stamford Bridge last season, when it looked like they'd done enough, and that mistake from Kieran Trippier led to a Mudryk equaliser, and they lost out on penalties in West London that night. They at least have the insurance of a extra goal as they lead by 2-0 midway through the second half now. Fernandez out towards Madueke, volleys the ball back to Disasi, and he's got to retreat almost back towards the halfway line. But Chelsea are seeing a lot of the ball as we enter the final quarter of this game here on BBC Radio 5 Live. Badiashile to Mudryk, waits for the ball to reach him, the Ukrainian international. Now finds Fernandez, as then it is with Tosin to come forward. Madueke and Felix with the 2 runners, cleared though by Hall for Newcastle United. Back to Celtic, Conor McLaughlin.
There's a penalty for Celtic. It's in the back of the net. Arnie Engels from the spot. Kyogo upended in the penalty box. The referee hummed and hawed about it. It went to VAR. It was given as a penalty, and Engels converted it right through the middle. Celtic 2, Dundee 0.
And remember, Aberdeen still lead Rangers by 1-0. That could mean that Rangers are 9 points adrift of the top 2 if it stays like that. Chelsea are attacking. Hall's clearance takes a ricochet, and Pope has to come quickly off his goal line to his left-hand side of the 6-yard area and dives bravely at the feet of Disasi and holds it, and he'll just calm things down at the back.
So what they've got to do, they've got to try and take the sting out of this game, because every single time they get the ball back, they're giving it to Chelsea and inviting pressure onto themselves.
Chelsea with Disasi, toss in at the back, Badiashile, forward ball. The Argentine World Cup winner Enzo Fernandez leaves it for Disasi. Patiently they play the ball at the back. Enzo Maresca patrolling that technical area, just ushers his side forward. Mudryk on this near side, the Chelsea left, infield to Fernandez once again. Tonali goes to close him down. Every outfield player now is in the half away towards our left hand side. Kilmarnock are now leading at Tynecastle. Hearts 1, Kilmarnock 2 is the latest score in the Scottish Premiership, as here is Enzo Fernandez to Cucurella. That's the overload that Alan Shearer was talking about, as the ball played by Badiashile to Nkunku might break towards Vega. There's a man over him, Madueke on that far side, the right, sends over a left-footed cross, and it will be cleared by Bruno Guimaraes. Another goal in that 7:30 kickoff at the Amex. Mike Williams.
The holders surely through to the quarterfinals now. Brighton 1, Liverpool 3 with just 6 minutes to go. Luis Diaz joining the party. Beautiful footwork from the Colombian. Turned his man, tricked another defender and slotted it low past Steele. Brighton 1, Liverpool 3.
Liverpool will be joining Southampton and Brentford in the draw that takes place tonight. Crystal Palace are also on course for the last 8. They lead 2-1 at Villa Park. Manchester United, you would think, would be in there as well. 5-2 up at home to Leicester City. Arsenal should be 2. 3-0 at the Championship side, Preston North End, and Tottenham at half-time 2-1 up against Manchester City. Commentary to come on BBC Radio 5 Live, and the conclusion of this game in about 19 minutes time. At the start of the second half will be on Sports Extra. Livramento is going to be coming on for Newcastle United. Eddie Howe is going to be making another change as Joe Linton brings the ball away, finds Osula, one of those substitutes already on the field of play, flicks it out towards Joe Linton. Good footwork by Joe Linton under pressure, back towards Longstaff. Tonali right of the centre circle, rolls into the challenge of Enzo Fernandez as Guimaraes spreads it out towards Gordon. Hall will go on the inside of him for a run from left back. Gordon leaves it to Guimaraes. Newcastle now attacking on that left hand side. Cross comes in, flick away by Tosin. He was fortunate it went to a blue shirt. There was nobody on the edge of the area.
I don't think he had a clue where it was going, but more importantly he actually got his foot to it.
Cucurella towards Felix, making that run. Kelly going with him, stride for stride, using his strength, and then goes to the ground and gets a free kick for Newcastle United. Going to be a double change. Dan Burn and Tino Livramento coming on for Newcastle. St Mirren leads St Johnstone by 3-1. Lewis Hall will be one of the changes coming off, as the other change will be Anthony Gordon. Bearing in mind he's had a groin injury, you've got to, I suppose, have a degree of caution with his fitness.
Yeah, absolutely. You've got to protect him, you've got to look after him, so he doesn't need another injury. So I think it's the right time to take him off with about 20 minutes to go.
So whilst that change happens, we'll go to Conor McNamara at Old Trafford.
We've got a quarter of the game remaining. Still Manchester United 5, Leicester 2. Soumare's just come close for Leicester. A blistering shot that Altay Bendir in the Manchester United goal did very well to fingertip up onto the crossbar to push away. Manchester United 5, Leicester City 2.
So Kelly has gone to left back. Dan Burn partnering Cher at the centre of defence, and Tino Livramento right side of midfield.
Yeah, well, they might go with 3 in the back there, and Burn and Cher and Kraft, with Livramento right side of the of that 3, and then Kelly the left side. Joe Linton's being shifted again back over to the left hand side.
Incidentally, the St Mirren third goal disallowed through VAR, so St Mirren only leads St Johnstone by 2-1, as the two substitutes, Gordon and Hall, make their way around the Leazy's end. They went off on the far side of the field of play. They're getting the adjuration of the Newcastle supporters with 17 minutes remaining on this night of League Cup action on 5 Live and the BBC Sounds app. Newcastle have got a free kick. Central position midway through the Chelsea half, still leading by 2-0 with 16 minutes remaining. Tonali stands over it. Chelsea have got a line of royal blue shirts just outside the D of their penalty area. Tonali now right-footed, delivers that ball, arcing away from goal, headed by Cher, and the header then by John Longstaff, but the flag is up and it will not count. I thought it marked a goal on his birthday to surely put Newcastle into the last 8, but of course there's no VAR and we're back underway already.
Yeah, everyone thought it was a goal, and the assistant on this right-hand side just flagged rather late, didn't he? Disappointment for Newcastle. They've not really offered much of a threat forward-wise, have they, Newcastle, in the second half? That's down to Chelsea for being a lot better, more dominant on the ball and getting into forward positions, but that's the one thing that's let Chelsea down when they have been in there. All of their players not really turned into a goal as yet.
Well, Cole Palmer was warming up, but we're still yet to see him. I thought we might at one stage, because Chelsea, if they could get a goal back, could still make it interesting, and the ball reaches João Felix and he prods it, and it goes wide. I thought that was the goal we've just been talking about. Right-footed, and somehow he steered it agonisingly wide of the base of the left-hand post.
What a chance. What an absolute sitter. So great ball in for him, running in behind. He times it to perfection, and Dan Burn can't get there. He's just got the goalkeeper to beat, and he tries to toe poke it with his right foot. He pushes it wide. Let off for Newcastle.
A big let off for Newcastle United. That really would have set us up for a fascinating final quarter of an hour. A late goal at the Amex. Mike Williams.
Brighton not out of this one yet. Brighton 2, Liverpool 3. Fullback Tariq Lamptey capitalising on some Liverpool poor clearance. His shot cannoned off Quansah into the back of the net to give Brighton a lifeline as we head into 5 minutes of injury time. Brighton 2, Liverpool 3.
They meet again at Anfield in the Premier League at the weekend. That will be our base for our 3 o'clock goal service commentary. during 5 Live Sport. Liverpool-Brighton to be followed by Wolves-Crystal Palace. And on Sunday we have Tottenham-Villa at 2, Manchester United-Chelsea at 4:30 as part of 5 Live Premier League Sunday with 14 minutes remaining. Newcastle United still leading 2-0 from those first half goals as the Newcastle supporters find their voices inside St James's Park. Cucurella away from Kraft, finds Mudryk up against Livramento. And Mudryk has squirmed the ball out of play to give Newcastle a throw.
Just as I said he did. He was doing well down this left-hand side. He kicks it out.
Tino Livramento, the substitute, didn't actually make any appearances for Chelsea, who sold him to Southampton for £5 million, and then Newcastle bought him for £32 million with 13 minutes of normal time remaining. Guimaraes turning into Vega, holds off Vega, gets a free kick for his troubles too, and then will not take that quickly, will just slow it down. About game management now, isn't it, for Newcastle?
Yeah, that's what they've got to do. What is 15, 16 minutes left of this game, and normal time, they've just got to try and kill the game. They're under pressure and have been for most of this second half. 1 or 2 really good opportunities for Chelsea which they've failed to take.
Coming into the side after those back-to-back wins against Panathinaikos and then Newcastle themselves in the Premier League, but heading for defeat at the moment. Maresca's side as Guimaraes shrugs off the challenge of Felix, left of the centre circle, passes the ball right-footed out to that far left touchline for Joel Linton. Hall now playing at left back, was going to go on the overlap and then thought about and has retreated since. And Newcastle United now just keeping the ball to you, to me, from Tonali and Guimaraes, and then back to Cher and back towards Kraft, trying to hold on to the possession, keeping control of this tie. As here is Livramento sent forward on the right hand side. Cucurella couldn't keep the ball in play. Livramento, it's a Chelsea throw.
Just about to say, it has to be a more patient build up for Newcastle because they've lost the pace of Gordon, of Willock, of Isak, and now got to pass it that little bit more into the final third.
12 minutes remaining. 55 years since Newcastle United's last major honour, the Fairs Cup in 1969. When the final will take place of this competition, it'll be 70 years since their last major domestic trophy. Remember, this is a competition that Newcastle have never won, only twice runners-up. They're taking on the 5 times winners, albeit for Chelsea, they've been runners-up 3 times since they last won it 9 years ago. Back in 2015, 11 minutes remaining.
That's a long time.
It is a long time. Newcastle United, if they could get through Eddie Howe, then would just be wanting a home draw in the quarter-finals. That home record under Eddie Howe is certainly a very, very impressive one. Only 1 defeat in the last 13, could be 1 defeat in 14 at St James's Park, but there's still work to do because Chelsea coming forward. 11 minutes remaining. Saw how quickly Newcastle scored those 2 goals in the first half. Here is Fernandes. Guimaraes goes towards him. Back then to Tosin, little lapse of concentration, had to go back to the halfway line to retrieve the ball as it had just slid underneath his left boot. Tosin forward to Fernandes. Joe Linton makes that run towards him. Tosin now away from Osula, out towards Disasi. Joe Linton tries to press. Madueke on that far side, plays the ball back. Chelsea have got Manchester United away on Sunday. Maybe Cole Palmer's been kept back for that one by Maresca. As here is Cucurella. Eddie Howe's black and white army is the chant inside St James's Park. Vocal encouragement. Chelsea seeing a lot of the ball as we have 10 minutes remaining. And Nkunku's little flick to Felix had to skip into the air to get away from the challenge. Guimaraes will bring it clear for Newcastle, and Nkunku brings him down. Free kick just outside the centre circle in the Newcastle half.
Well, Newcastle have retreated another 5 or 10 yards further back, with now 5 at the back and 4 in the midfield, and then Osula up front. But when they win the ball, they've got actually not very many options up there, and Bruno's very clever at that in winning free kicks, you know, when he's protecting the ball and the opposition touches him. It doesn't take him much to go down.
The voice of Alan Shearer on BBC Radio 5 Live. 9 minutes remaining. Madueke now attacking right hand side, right corner of the box, leaves it for Fernandez. Fernandez plays a right footed ball in over the head of Cucurella. Newcastle United get it away. Longstaff to Guimaraes, rolls away from Enzo Fernandez, and the referee has blown his whistle. I think it's because Enzo Fernandez has gone down clutching his face. A stoppage in play. Newcastle lead by 2-0. Dundee United 1, Motherwell 2 is the latest score at Tannadice in the Scottish Premiership, and we'll get an update at Old Trafford from Colin McNamara.
13 minutes of normal time to play. Still Manchester United 5, Leicester 2. 2 goals from Casemiro, 2 goals from Bruno Fernandes. Leicester keep plugging away, but Steve Cooper's brought on 5 substitutes in 1 go, so they're a bit disorientated at the moment. Manchester United 5, Leicester City 2.
Full time at the Amex, and the holders are through, Mike Williams.
Yeah, Brighton 2, Liverpool 3. Liverpool through to the quarterfinals after a bit of a scare here on the south coast. Cody Gakpo gave them a 2-0 lead in the second half, only for Simon Adingra to pull one back for Brighton. Diaz then restored Liverpool's 2-goal lead with a fine individual effort. That was 3-1. Tariq Lamptey made things a bit nervous for Arne Slot's team late on with a deflected shot to make it 3-2, but Liverpool held on and they are into the final 8 of the League Cup. It's finished here at the Amex. Brighton 2, Liverpool 3.
When you think of the ties, Alan, of Brighton, Liverpool, Tottenham, Manchester City, and this one here that we're watching, Newcastle against Chelsea, to lose as a cross comes in high from the right hand side, Cucurella's downward header, edge of the area, Vega battling for it, cleared by Newcastle, to lose 3 of those top sides from the top half of the table.
Yeah, the other teams are thinking that as well, though, aren't they?
True. You don't think about Wembley just yet at the quarter-final stage?
You might think about it, but you certainly wouldn't tell anyone.
7 minutes remaining. Now Celtic leading Dundee 2-0 at Parkhead. Aberdeen were 1-0 up, but there's been a goal at Pittodrie. Gavin Wallace.
There has been, Ian. Aberdeen 1 at Rangers 1. Could Aberdeen be ruined? That missed penalty from earlier, it looks like it. Nadim Biryami down the left hand side, he manages to cut in between the 2 Aberdeen defenders and unleashed a low curler into the bottom left hand corner. It's Aberdeen 1, Rangers 1.
Newcastle United, they've won their last 5 fourth round ties in this competition, having previously only progressed 1 in the 6 seasons before that. They're looking to progress again here. Very good defending by Emil Krafth with his anticipation, read that situation well with the interception, and now launches attack as he finds Asula on the edge of the area, left-footed shoots and comes off the base of the right-hand post. He was close to his first goal for the club, goes out for a goal kick.
So close, felt for him, but great play from Emil Krafth and bursting forward and beat 1 or 2 Chelsea players, and then having the vision to look up and pick Asula out. He comes back in on his left side and cuts in and whips it from the edge of the box and just hits the outside of the post and goes out for the goal kick.
Probably Newcastle's only really worthwhile effort second half.
Yeah, we've not seen too much from them in forward positions this half.
6 minutes remaining. Newcastle 2, Chelsea 0, Manchester United 5, Leicester 2, Preston 0, Arsenal 3, Tottenham 2, Manchester City 1 in the 8:15 kick-off. Commentary on Sports Extra. The conclusion of the game will be here on 5 Live. Aston Villa 1, Crystal Palace 2. As we get an update from Tottenham and Chris Coles.
Timo Werner's just missed a great chance to put Tottenham 3-1 up against Manchester City. Solanke finds him and he's clean through. Probably has too much time, and eventually his left foot shot a couple of yards wide. Still Tottenham 2, Manchester City 1, 52 minutes.
5 minutes remaining here of normal time at St James's Park. Joelinton deep inside his own half. Guimaraes, the 2 Brazilians linking up well. Guimaraes then fouled by João Felix on the edge of his own penalty area, and a show of dissent from Felix has got him a yellow card from referee Chris Kavanagh as we go to Villa Park and Lee Blakeman.
Villa 1, Palace 2, 7 minutes to go. Villa have had chances to equalise though, Ian. John Duran with a shot from the left side of the area, went straight at Matt Turner, and then Jayden Philogene, edge of the box, deflected shot, straight into Turner's gloves again. Villa 1, Palace 2.
So Felix has been booked, and it'll be a free kick that Pope will be in no hurry to take.
Well, he's looked very good on the ball, Felix, but his end product has been really poor. He had that wonderful opportunity, 7 or 8 minutes ago, and it might have been very different for Chelsea if that had gone in. That's been a problem for them tonight. Done well in getting into the last third of Newcastle, particularly the second half, but the finishing's been really poor.
Here is Guimaraes out to Joel Linton. Guimaraes wants it back and gets it back, left-hand side. Tonali quickly re-establishes possession for Newcastle United after the clearance from Chelsea. Hall plays it back to Cher, edge of the centre circle of his own half. Kraft to Livramento. Livramento being pursued by Cucurella, but he glides away from Cucurella and runs in field. Edge of the centre circle, keeps on going, and then Tonali helps him out to Joel Linton. I think Joel Linton was waiting for the referee's whistle there, because Livramento had been knocked to the floor off the ball, but there was no advantage played. But Newcastle have kept the ball, and 4 minutes remaining of normal time. And now they're keeping the ball well, and Chelsea are having to chase. But that ball out of the back by Cher goes straight to Cucurella. Cucurella on the stretch gives it back to Newcastle. Kraft forward to Livramento. Asula's going to go on the overlap. Guimaraes through the middle. Joel Linton is an option on the left. Livramento looks for Joel Linton. Entering the penalty area, it was away from him, and it'll be picked up by Jorgensen, the goalkeeper.
You could see Joel Linton sprinting in there, and he just put a little bit too much pace on it. He just couldn't pick him out.
Newcastle United edging ever closer to being confirmed as ball number 6 in the quarter-final draw tonight. Don't go anywhere, by the way. We'll be going straight after all around the grounds for the conclusion of Tottenham 2, Manchester City 1. That 8:15 kickoff at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. And with 3 minutes away till we reach the 90 here to find out how much added on time there will be. Chelsea still looking to reduce the arrears. Tosin, Badiashile, Mudryk, and Palmer will not be utilised after all, it would seem, as the cross from Mudryk over the head of Madueke, picked up right corner of the area. Cross comes in from Disasi. Cucurella rises off that bushy head of his and out for a goal kick. Hearing of a big chance at Tottenham, but to who to? Chris Coles.
Another one for Spurs, this time Dejan Kulusevski bursting into the penalty area, right hand side, opened up his body with his left foot. Stefan Ortega read it and made a good one-handed save. Tottenham 2, Manchester City 1, 10 minutes into the second half.
We talked ahead of the game about the importance of a win for Newcastle United, just for a little bit of calm. It would appear they're going to get it.
Well, it's not how. We just got to get into that quarter-final, and they've done the damage in the first half, and if they can see this game out, then it's been a really, really good result for them. Impressive first half. They've had to defend well second half and rely on a little bit of luck and poor finishing, but it's about getting through, and at the minute they are.
They lead by 2-0. Joel Linton to Guimaraes, no width on the left. Guimaraes though will accelerate, runs to the edge of the area, plays the ball out to Livramento, back to Guimaraes, just bobbled up for him, and it allowed Chelsea to dispossess him. And then Cucurella with a clearance. Kraft, who's had a good game at right back, heads it forward towards Tonali. Livramento's diagonal ball, right corner of the area. Longstaff able to turn. His cross runs up the body of Badiashile, heads it away. 60 seconds remaining of normal time. Newcastle have a throw inside the Chelsea half.
Yeah, Kraft has had a really good game. Pace when he's had to have his pace. He's made some really good tackles when he's had to. And that burst forward 5 minutes ago was very, very impressive.
Eddie Howe in dialogue with Jason Tindall. Newcastle United have the ball in the Chelsea half as we wait for the fourth official, Thomas Bramall, to see how much added on time there will be. Enzo Fernandez looks for Madueke on that right hand side. Madueke though is faced by 2 Newcastle defenders. Felix and Nkunku are joining the attack. Madueke cuts inside, left footed shot blocked by Dan Burn. Guimaraes goes to ground, referee says no foul. It'll be Vega to shoot from distance, and it's pushed away by Pope. Rather awkward one, just bounced in front of him.
Yeah, you had to be alive and alert for that one, because it did. Vega looked up and thought, why not have a shot from about 25 yards out? Nick Pope got down well to his left-hand side, just pushed it away.
Saw how last night Sheffield Wednesday scored from distance against Mark Flecken, but Pope on this occasion, he was alert to push it away. We're finding out how much added on time there will be. 3 minutes of added on time, which we're now into at St James's Park, and Newcastle United lead Chelsea by 2-0. Aberdeen, remember, have been pegged back by Rangers, but Celtic looking to stride out on their lonesome at the top. Conor McLaughlin.
Yeah, 88 minutes on the clock. It's still Celtic 2, Dundee 0. It's all about managing minutes, I think, right now for Brendan Rodgers, only in this game, but also there's some of the players that have been injured for the past few weeks. Cameron Carter-Vickers has just made way for Liam Scales. He's now on. Big game on Saturday, remember, Aberdeen in the League Cup. I think that's on his mind. Celtic 2, Dundee 0.
Aberdeen, of course, do have an extra 15 minutes. It was an 8 o'clock kickoff at Pittodrie. We're into the 3 minutes of added on time. Are you surprised with, I mean, Chukwuemeka's only made 13 minutes of his one appearance this season against Panathinaikos. You've got Cole Palmer there as well, that he's only made the one change. Maresca?
Not really, no, because this is not their main competition. They got bigger things to think about. We saw that with the squad that they put out for Europe. But I think their priority this season will without doubt try and get as near as he can to that top four.
Well, I just wonder if this is a nice move here from Eddie Howe, because he talks about the adverse reaction by a section of supporters when Tonali was substituted at the weekend. Tonali is coming off for Lewis Miley, who's coming on for his first appearance of the season. He had a broken metatarsal in pre-season, and Tonali getting a good ovation from the St James's Park crowd.
Makes a difference when you're 2-0 up, though.
Good point. Miley is on. He had a good first season, though, didn't he, the Durham youngster?
Yeah, he came in at a really tough time and handled himself really well. Some good performances, and big things are expected of him from Newcastle if he can stay injury-free. It's good to see him back.
Do you think that was a deliberate ploy, though, by Eddie Howe to give Tonali a bit of confidence?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Eddie likes him, the Newcastle fans like him. You can hear the reception they gave him. Even 10-15 minutes ago, the whole ground was singing his name.
Well, Newcastle United have done enough now, surely, because we're into the third and final minute of the minimum of 3, and those first half goals, and Chelsea's vulnerability exposed at the back, with Newcastle's press reaping its rewards, leading by 2-0 to join Brentford, Southampton and Liverpool in the quarter-final draw. Crystal Palace is still leading Aston Villa by 2-1 as Joe Linton running forward here, looking to seal it. Joe Linton now to Livramento, blocked by Cucurella. Manchester United 5, Leicester 2, Preston 0, Arsenal 3, and commentary to come very soon of Tottenham 2, Manchester City 1. There's been another goal, though. It's at Pittodrie. Gavin Wallace.
Yeah, it's for Aberdeen. Aberdeen 2, Rangers 1. Shayden Morris with a tap in. He'll not score anything easier this season. Palaversa's shot from about 16 yards is well saved by Jack Butland on the volley. And then Nicky Devlin gets to the front post. He toe pokes that across. It comes off the post and on to Shayden Morris, who slams home. It's Aberdeen 2, Rangers 1.
Matching Celtic stride for stride at the top of the Scottish Premiership, but here in the League Cup at St James's Park it's finished, and Newcastle United are through to the quarter-finals. They've beaten Chelsea by 2-0. Alan.
Yeah, good performance. They did the damage in the first half. I thought they were impressive. Their pressing, their energy, their pace. It was back to what the Newcastle fans have got used to over the last 2 or 3 years. Second half they had to defend. Chelsea missed 2 or 3 really big chances which helped, but the win, the clean sheet into the quarter-finals, been a really positive night for Newcastle.
Goals from Isak and a Disasi own goal in the 23rd and 26th minute. Felix hit a post in the second half, which could have set up an interesting final 15 minutes. But as it is, it's finished at St James's Park. Newcastle United 2, Chelsea 0.